Yo, what's up? This is your boy Alex. I know y'all be like, man, what's with the shirt change? Well, I decided to make it a part of my act. Every time I do a new YouTube video, I want to make sure I look fresh and it's long overdue for a haircut. All right, this is gonna be another YouTube video. I decided why wait until tomorrow to do the video, give y'all this next video, and then I can have 2 days off and work on good scripted videos. The better that I get 2 to 3 days of rest, the better y'all get a chance to watch other people's YouTube videos. So that way you're not always seeing me all day, every day. One of the big complaints that I got from my three producers is that I made way too many YouTube videos and I was getting on everybody's nerves with making like 4 to 5, sometimes 7 videos and 1 week, sometimes 10 videos in 1 month would drive everybody mad. So we're not going to make the same mistake twice in 2021. But then again, you already knew it doesn't matter if it's 3 videos or 5 videos. Somehow, some way, good or bad, someone will find some way to get angry and get upset because if I'm too popular on YouTube, they'll find some way to try to make an issue out of it when in reality there's no issue out of it. It's just all in good entertainment and good fun. Now, this one, however, is going to be in the realm of television and film, but it's going to be talking about film. So this might be 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes before I go to lunch. And you won't get no more videos for the rest of the day or for probably for the next 1 to 2 days. This one's called Sex Game, the best films of 2021 and 2022. I'll try to come with a better title to the video. We'll probably call it Sex Games, the best action films. There we go. Sex Game, the best action films of spring and summer 2021 and 2022. Now, you might be like, why that's a long title? It's because I'm trying to make this very catchy, very creative. I don't want to just put something out there and it's so blatantly obvious, and you'd be like, Alex, can you put some more work and effort into the title of the video? So we're gonna retitle it and call it Sex Game: The Best Action Films of Spring and Summer 2021 and 22. And yes, it's for women and for men. It's for both. It's for men and women, young or old, black or white. These videos are gender neutral. All is welcome to watch this video. So this is to talk about in the realm of television and film. As you do know, a lot of our big blockbuster movie reviews have not been coming to this channel because ain't nobody been had a chance to go to the movies. And one of the biggest successes on my YouTube channels, we're talking about movies, not just sports, not just music, not just sex and dating, not just self improvement. A lot of the big things that made me so successful on this channel was movie reviews. Those that know that subscribed to my channel 2, 3, 4 years ago, y'all know what I was talking about. Every time I went to the movies, I would always give you guys an uploaded video about movies. And this is going to be sticking true to my word. I'm a man of my word. I said I was going to give you new content. You're going to get fresh and new content as delivered. All right, coming in at number 6 at the number 6 slot is Mortal Kombat. Now, it don't matter if you played Mortal Kombat in the late 1980s, early 1990s, or the mid 2000s. Mortal Kombat is a big time franchise. It's got like 13 video games. It's got like 2 or 3 animated movies, 2 animated series. It's been a television show, and this is a reboot concept. Now, hopefully the reboot does something that the original movie never had a chance to do. The true story of Liu Kang being the chosen one and fighting Shang Tsung. So you're gonna see the traditional story of good versus evil, right versus wrong, man versus man, man versus himself, man versus conflict, man at war with himself. All of that is the story of Liu Kang. We all can relate to looking into the mirror and asking ourselves, who are we when we wake up? When we go to sleep, when we wake up? And hopefully, Mortal Kombat does what it was supposed to do, which is display the fights and the way of the video game. What made the Mortal Kombat video game so badass in the 1990s was the martial arts, the superpowers. We're going to see all our traditional characters. I mean, If the first film is very successful, I have a feeling they'll greenlight a second film. I'm talking about Warner Brothers. As you do know, the distribute rights is Warner Brothers or Legendary Pictures. One of the two is giving us this brand new Mortal Kombat film. I am looking forward to a Mortal Kombat film. Do you have any idea how many years it's been since I've seen Sub Zero, Reptile, Scorpion, Sonya Blade, Princess Katana, Shao Kahn? All of those are traditional characters from the video games. All the actors fit the character's description. Whoever's Liu Kang, that's Liu Kang. And this movie's going to be very good. I expect this movie to make anywhere from maybe 50 to 90 million, possibly break 200 million. I'm not going to say no 220 or no 250 because that's putting expectations way too high on a movie. So I'm going to say somewhere between 50 to 90 million dollar range, maybe 150, possibly potentially could bring in 200 million dollars. The reason why I'm going with that estimate is because look how many years it's been since we ain't had no Mortal Kombat. We've had X-Men films. We've had X-Men reboot 3 times. We've had Avenger films. We had Marvel DC films. And Mortal Kombat hasn't really had a chance to get a franchise started since 1997. And if you think about it, from 1997 to like 2018 or 2019, that's like 12 or 13 years ago since we seen a Mortal Kombat film. So I don't want to put expectations on this movie extremely high and say it's going to be the best Mortal Kombat film. What I'm hoping for is the first movie tells a good story, good versus evil, right and wrong, Warriors redemption. And if the film is very successful, go right ahead and greenlight a Mortal Kombat Part 2. And if Part 2 is good, then you give us a Mortal Kombat 3 and who knows, maybe a Mortal Kombat 4. I think this franchise has the potential to give us at least 3 films. The reason why I say three is because most movies give you 2 or 3 films, and that's the end of the trilogy. But with Mortal Kombat, you could easily go with 4 films, maybe 3 films, maybe 4 films. Maybe you just give us 2 to 3 films, and then later give us a Mortal Kombat television series. So to me, I believe that this first film is going to be the Mortal Kombat we've all been waiting for. For almost 14 years, we have not seen a Mortal Kombat film, so that's why this is number 6 on my list. Coming in at number 5 is The Batman. Now, The Batman's got Robert Pattinson. Now, I watched a movie called The Tenant, and when you watch The Tenant, you can see why Robert Pattinson was picked to be in The Tenant. Like, right when you watch that movie, you see he has qualities right away that makes him Bruce Wayne. And you can see why he was picked to play Batman. Now, what I'm hoping for this Batman reboot is to go into a different direction. Most Batman films have a tendency to repeat the same thing over and over and over. Like, I don't want to see, okay, he's Batman, he's got the Batcave, he goes out and he crime fight, his parents been taken away from him, and, I'm Batman. I don't want to see the same thing over and over and over. What I want to see brought to the approach of Batman is he do something completely different in the contents of, okay, let's focus on his detective skills. Most Batman films, he has detective skills, but they always focus on the martial arts, the special effects. They expect on the action sequences. This time around, I want to see a more detective oriented Batman. Like, I want to see what he does with forensic science. How does he find out the clues? How does he solve cases? How does he break cases? How does he help the police? How does he find out who the bad guys are the bad guys? How did he find out their aliases, their history? That's what I want the movie to touch on. And of course, have Batman kick some ass and do some martial arts. But I also want to see his other skill set. Like, Batman speaks multiple languages, and the one Batman movie that's never given us the idea that he could speak multiple languages, the only Batman movie that I think could that actually done it but didn't expand on it was Batman versus Superman, where it was indicated that Ben Affleck's Batman could speak Russian. So to me, I think what needs to be done is I want to see Batman speak at least 2 or 3 multiple languages, his detective skills as well as him doing weight training, martial arts, crime fighting, and being a playboy billionaire that we all know him to be. Yes, he dates multiple women. Who would not want to um, have that as Batman? So I believe that's what I want to see in a Batman man. Now, this is a movie that I do expect to make anywhere from 200 million to maybe 250 million dollars. Possibly it could be a $1 billion movie. Again, I don't want to put my expectations on the Batman movie very high because I've done that in the past with movies, and they weren't exactly what I expect them to be. So I believe the Batman movie will do 5 times better than expected. Now, whether this movie's on HBO Max, theatrical release, I'm going to watch Robert Pattinson as the Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. This movie, in my opinion, will be estimated to make anywhere from 200 million to 220, maybe 250 million. I wouldn't be surprised if it can go as far as to make close to $1 billion. That's what I think this movie would estimate. That's what I want to see from this film. And of course, I want to see classical Batman villains. Poison Ivy. I want to see Poison Ivy this time around and not just the same version of the Joker. Like, we've seen the Joker, but I want to see other villains to challenge Batman. Like, I want to see Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze. I want to see I don't want to see Scarecrow no more because we already seen him with Christopher Nolan's trilogy. So with this Matt Reeves trilogy, give me Batman villains that we ain't never seen before on the big screen. Like, you can give me Poison Ivy, you can give me Doctor Manhattan, Killer Croc would be very nice. Clayface, Hush would be another villain. It's nice that we get to see the Riddler, Penguin, and Two Face in this film. We already got Catwoman, we already got Bane, but the one villain that I feel like that we need to see in the second or in the third film when it get a sequel is Batman go face to face with his childhood nemesis, Hush. That's what I would like to see in this Batman trilogy. Um, you could take inspiration, you could take story from either Batman, Gotham Knight, or you can take No Man's Land, which is a very good comic book where Batman comes into an abandoned Gotham City. There's nobody there but him, and he has to fight all the villains by himself. I think that's the one thing we ain't never got in an actual Batman film is him fight all the villains by himself. I'm talking about no Robin, no Nightwing, no Batgirl. Maybe you have Commissioner Gordon come out and help, but you could do Batman's No Man's Land. I mean, you could make that the second or the third movie. All right, coming in at number 4 is Fast and Furious 9. What do I expect from Fast and Furious 9? Now, you do understand I put 2021 and in 2022 because originally this movie was slated to come out last year. It didn't come out. It was going to come out this May of 2021. Release date got changed. It's 50-50. It can come out this year, it can come out next year. Now, what do I expect from Fast and Furious 9? I expect it to make anywhere from 120 to maybe $150 million. And I'm going to tell you why I don't give it as high as I probably should give it. Because for you to change the release date 2 or 3 times, okay, fine. Van Diesel is very good at being an executive producer of all his movies. I like Van Diesel as a producer, executive producer, screenwriter. I like him even more as an action star. He's cool. He's badass. He knows what he wants with his movies. He knows what he doesn't want with his film production. That's what I like and respect about Van Diesel's ability to market these movies. To me, this has to be a theatrical release because most people would expect that. And if you put this on a streaming service, people will watch it. Don't get me wrong, but it's Fast and Furious, and the name sells itself. It's Fast and Furious. And to me, this is a movie that if I wanted to go out theatrical release, this is the movie I would rather go see. So I think it would probably make as high as 150. I would be surprised if it gets up to $165 million. I mean, you got Van Diesel in it. You got John Cena. What more could you possibly ask for? And that's probably why we want to see the movie so bad because it's Van Diesel versus John Cena, and there's a story behind those two characters. It's brother versus brother, And you got Charlize Theron coming back. You got the original cast, and this opens the door for a Fast and Furious 10, possibly a Fast and Furious 11. They say 10 or 11 will be the last two in the trilogy, but they say that every single year with the movie, and they always come out with another one. And to me, I see Van Diesel make this by far his best Fast and Furious to date, period. So I expect this to make probably close to 170 million. Now I said between 120 million to maybe 150, and I said I'm lucky if it gets 165. I wouldn't be surprised if it jumps up the curve and gets to 170 million. Why close to almost to the 200 million range? Why close to that? Because people might want to watch this movie more than two times. Some people might watch this movie four times. All right, coming in at number three is Godzilla versus Kong. This is highly anticipated, okay? This is something we've been wanting to see since they brought us Godzilla in 2014, and then the sequel, Godzilla King of Monsters. We got Kong Sky Island. So we've seen three movies so far. And for us to give us the movie that we've been wanting to see, this makes it this worth, how to say, the wait is worth the wait. Well, that's why this is good. To me, this is a big franchise, and a lot of people want to see Godzilla and Kong square up. We already know the story synopsis. The first half, they're going to fight at least three times in the film, and we're going to see these two characters join forces to fight a monster that threatens that existence. And this is going to be a chance to see them build up on the character of Godzilla. We know he's going to evolve. We know Godzilla's got some more superpowers. We know Kong's going to get a power up. We know Kong's going to get stronger and bigger. He's going to transform into a bigger version of himself. And I expect this movie to go from 250 to maybe 250, maybe $260. Why? Because it has big expectations. The last thing you want is for this to turn into Batman versus Superman. Remember? That was estimated to be a $1 billion movie, and it underperformed at the box office. And some people are kind of nervous, will Godzilla versus King Kong turn out the same way? Because when you see Godzilla versus Kong, the first thing you think of is what happened to Batman versus Superman, right? That's what we're expecting with this film, and hopefully it turns out to be the complete different. Like I'll watch it because I like Godzilla and King Kong, but I'm just one person. And I'll make a movie review regardless if the movie is good or bad. You know me by now. But most people ain't gonna want to watch the movie if it ain't that good. Like if I tell my dad about the movie, my dad goes, "Did it make 250 million?" And I say no, then my dad will look at me like I'm not watching it. If it ain't making big bucks, I ain't watching it. Cause my dad ain't really, he ain't really into Godzilla and Kong. He'll watch some Harry Potter. He'll watch some James Bond. Speaking of James Bond, that is our number two pick. It is James Bond 25. Now we've been wanting a James Bond movie for the last 3.5 years. We've been wanting a James Bond movie, and we've got it with Daniel Craig. I'm glad he come back for one more time as Bond. Thank you, Daniel Craig. Thank you, Daniel Craig. Thank you, Daniel Craig. Thank you, Daniel Craig. Thank you, Daniel Craig, to come back one last time as James Bond. I mean, once he retires from the character, it's going to have a question mark who's going to fill the shoes of Bond. I mean, this is what you go to the movies for, to see the guy fight the bad guys, get the girl, or should I say the girls, and save the day. And to me, this movie is going to solidify him as James Bond forever. When Daniel Craig decides to get on the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever he decides to do in the future of his acting career, this movie will clearly defy that. And the expectations for this movie, it has to make between 200 to 250, close to $1 billion. This movie has to. If this movie fails, this will probably hurt the name and the brand, and that's what a lot of people do not want to happen to this James Bond film. I'm gonna watch James Bond regardless because I like the James Bond movies, and particularly I've grown very fond of the Daniel Craig James Bond films as of lately. Yes, one of the biggest films to date was Skyfall. We all know that the remake of Casino Royale was very big hit. that got close to $1 billion. We all know that Quantum Solace wasn't really that good of a sequel. Nobody likes Quantum of Solace. Even Daniel Craig be the first one to tell you that film failed expectations. Skyfall performed better than Quantum of Solace. I know a lot of people were upset with Spectre and how that ended. This is going to be the complete difference. Coming in at the number one movie that is expected to make billions with an S, not just billion, billions with an S, is my girl Scarlett Johansson, aka Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. Now, whether this movie gets to be on Disney Plus, theatrical release, which I'm pretty sure if I'm a betting man in Las Vegas, I predict 99.999%. I predict this will break in probably 1.1, if not 1.2 billion, maybe 1.1 billion dollars estimate. And it won't matter if it's on Disney Plus or theatrical release. They're going to do both. Now the difference is this movie is coming out this year of May. Hopefully. Hopefully they don't change the release dates on these movies. If they do, I'm going to be very angry. But my point is, this movie is what we're all expecting. Now, a lot of people have already seen Wonder Woman 1884. Please don't ruin the movie for me. I have not seen it. I've seen the movie reviews, and people did not like the movie. And people are expecting this to do what the last film didn't do. And pretty much, I'm going to say if any movie's going to really be a sure thing to watch, it's Black Widow. It's anticipated. You know, if this strikes gold, and it will, there's the potential for a Black Widow 2, Black Widow 3. Maybe, I don't know, in 2 or 3 years you do a Disney Plus series called Black Widows where you can go make a television concept. I mean, there's potential for sequels after this film. Everyone wants to see this film. To me, this is where Scarlett Johansson really shows that I can actually do a franchise, not just in the Avengers. I can actually carry a franchise on my own with success. And it seems like she's going to actually do that. And this movie is what I'm hoping for. Basically, to see her fight Taskmaster, a villain that can mimic all of the characters of the Avengers, is like a dream come true. It's part of my childhood. We've always had those stories of our classic heroes and villains. And this ain't just good versus bad. This is more like a triumphant story of how she got from where she was to the Avengers. And that's the type of story we've been wanting to see since her debut introduction in Iron Man 2. So these are my top six picks. These are just the first six movies that I picked out of the hat. And I'll probably come back by the end of the week, maybe a Friday or a Saturday, and come back and do a part two to this and maybe do one for television. Because, there's a lot of shows that's coming in spring and summer of this year. So until next time, peace.